What is up, everybody? Welcome to Hoops and Cards. I'm Gary, your host. So great to be with you again this Tuesday as we talk about basketball cards for collectors and investors. And I don't know where you're at today in your journey. Maybe this is your first time ever listening to a podcast like this because you saw it said Basketball Cards 101, how to get started. Yeah, today I am your guide. I'm your host. We're going to talk a little bit about basketball cards, what it means to be a fan that now collects, and maybe even invest. You've got a friend that's made some money doing this, or they're trying, like they're hustling, like they're out there buying cards and talking to you about the deals that they made. I don't know what brought you here, but today I want to talk a bit about, before we dive in, a little bit about what's happening lately in the NBA and in the card market. NBA wise, I got to go to a Cavaliers game the other night with my son. And it was his birthday, excuse me, celebrating his birthday. So thank you for the Cavaliers for actually upgrading our seats. That was pretty awesome. We moved from being like in the way up high, 5 rows from the back wall section to, hey, now all of a sudden we are 7 or 8 rows from the court. And we got to see our dudes up close. And I even got to take some reels of Darius Garland and Evan Mobley to post on the Hoops and Cards Instagram site. Hey, by the way, love for you to follow us on Instagram at Hoops and Cards. At Hoops and Cards. Maybe that's how you found us. But that's a great way to interact. I love to hear from our listeners. Direct message me anytime. Tell me where you're from, how you found the podcast, maybe, or where you're listening the podcast in whatever country or state you're at. Hoops and Cards, man, we are as we round out the end of 2022. It's been a great year for us. We have listeners in more than 70 countries. It was fun this past week as I had lunch with my friend Brad. Shout out Brad over there at Town Tavern. We had, great to catch up with a good friend. And then at the same time, in the last few minutes, I'm like, hey, you into basketball cards? And he's like, yeah. Oh man, we had some times. So, shout out to Brad. Shout out to all of you guys who maybe you're a collector or investor, or your kids are, or you ladies, your sister is, or your cousin, your daughter is, your son is, whatever is. Like, this is a great way to stay informed because we podcast 2 times a week at least about what's going on in the hobby. And there have been a lot of basketball card podcasts that are out there, or one-off episodes of larger sports card podcasts that we love to listen to and get a lot out of. But we try to be that consistent voice of basketball, like NBA fandom, fanonymity, whatever it is you want to call it, fanaticisms. Like, I loved going to the Cavaliers game and seeing the Cavs play. They are my favorite team, but I'll admit I bought tickets to that game because I wanted to see Luka Doncic. And about 1 o'clock the day of the game, so 6 hours before game time, I get a message from my son that says, Luka's not playing tonight. I'm like, what? Luka's not playing tonight? Like, last time we went to the Portland game and Damian Lillard didn't play that night. And earlier in the season, we went to the Cavs game and Donovan Mitchell didn't play that night. Maybe I got to get better at picking games, because then I find out that, oh yeah, he doesn't play the second night of back-to-back games on the road on Thursdays when it's a full moon. Like, what is going on, NBA? Like, I went to a Pelicans game against the Cavaliers last year, really hoping to see it Zion or at least Brandon Ingram. Nope. Do I sound like a fan or like a grumpy dude, but I just love seeing the game anyway. And we got to see Donovan Mitchell make some huge shots. So the return of Kemba Walker, like, that was worth the price of admission in the first place. What did he have? 35 points. And he was just awesome to watch. So current events in the hobby. Yeah, love to attend NBA games. Love to play NBA 2K. My son and I split the download for the new edition of that. And it's fun. You can play the games that are going on that day, or you can hop online and play just about anybody. But in the hobby with basketball cards, guys, I don't know if there's a nice way to put this. I get lots of questions about, should I buy this player? Should I buy that player? What about this cards? Or, hey, the new Contenders Optics came out last week, and there's some cool looking autos and rookie tickets and sophomore season tickets, some Legends autograph cards. It's really good to know about the new releases, what new cards are dropping. Like, I think that's fine and that's fun. And I like to go online. Maybe you didn't know this. You can go on YouTube and watch actual videos of people opening the new product, talking about those cards, maybe the suspense of the the great pull, the great card that they got out of that box, whatever. I actually like to do that rather than spend my own money on cards when they are brand new, because often the prices right out the gate of boxes or of individual single cards that you might see on eBay or at some auction, the prices are high because the demand is like everybody's so excited something new is out, or they find a limited numbered card, those kind of things. And so they race. But I just want to tell you this from the get-go. This is actually going to be part of our Basketball Cards 101 conversation today, is that it's not a race. In fact, it's not even a competition. When it comes to basketball cards, there are ways to do this that lead to all of us winning, that we all can enjoy it. There's enough, don't have a scarcity mindset of I have to get I have to be the first, I have to win, I have to get the best out of the deal. Like that sort of mindset, I think eventually leads to disappointment, because inevitably you're not going to get the best of the deal. You're not going to win. There will be times like this is a down market. That's what I was going to say. This is a down market, which for buyers, if you've got the resources and you want to buy, then I think it's as good a time as any to get in on buying a new card for sure, or a bunch of cards. But if you're expecting to resell that card or those cards anytime soon and make money on it, it can happen. In fact, it can happen because of big news or a big game, or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander hit another game winner last night. That dude is on fire. There are certain players that you love to follow, and when they're playing well or when they raise their game up, like Zion Williamson has lately, and Lauri Markkanen has all season, and now people are starting to talk about the Brooklyn Nets because of their basketball performance, not because of their drama, So I know it's drama. Don't go correcting me. Don't go, this guy has called it drama. I don't think he knows English. Like, come on, dude. They're talking about basketball. When a player has a great game, I start to get interested. Naz Reid from the T-Wolves had 2 huge games in the last week. 27 points, 28 points. Great. Does that mean that I went out to the store, called my friends and said, I'm going to buy Naz Reid before everybody else? No, it just means I start to pay attention, right? I want to at least be aware when players are doing well, or they get new opportunities, and when there's bad news, even, when Anthony Davis goes out and he's got a foot injury, and there's this part of me that's like, again, AD, I was close to recommending you. I was sent a card of yours in for grading, even. Like, I've got PSA. I put that as one of my updates for you. Like, you can make some money. Check out a previous episode. I think it's 3 episodes ago. 3 episodes ago, we talked about there are still ways to make money in this down market. And one of those is to buy nice looking raw cards, single cards of players, and then send them into PSA to have them graded. That's still a thing. In fact, I have 4 groups of cards right now at PSA waiting for them to ship them back to me. I did get 1 set of grades of cards that I 16 cards that I sent in a while ago. Almost all of them are basketball cards, and I got 4 of those 16 graded as a Jemmy. They got a 10, Brad. They got a 10. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They got the Jemmy, and those are worth a lot more now because of that 10. Then I got a bunch of cards, like 9 of those were graded as a 9. I just thought I'd go 9 of those, and that's mint, but there's still not as much demand or as great a value for the 9s. So I just decided, all right, I'm going to get a lot more particular in how I evaluate cards before I send them in. So that's all I'm going to do. So I'm doing the research on card values. In fact, if you don't have a site that you use for researching card values, number 1, learn how to use eBay and search for sold items and go to recently ended auctions or listings that sold, so you can see like the last 5 or 10. Don't go scrolling down to find the cheapest one when you're negotiating with a seller and say, hey, see, this card only sold for $5. I'll give you 4. When the other 10 sales were up at $12. What are you trying to do to me, people? Like look at the range, look at what they've sold for as a range. And maybe you throw out the low ball sale at an auction that ended on Thursday at 11 a.m. And, Kennebunkport, or you throw out the high one, the one that sold for $57 on an auction in the middle of the third quarter when Naz Reid was lighting it up. I still think it's funny that Naz Reid is the guy I'm talking about here. I don't usually talk about backup players who only get in because 2 starter all-stars had DNP illness. You're seeing a lot of that today too. I don't know. I hope you're feeling well. I hope you have an awesome holiday, Christmas, whatever you celebrate at the end of the year with family and friends. We want to wish you a happy holiday, Merry Christmas. And I want to get into today's topic, the basketball card 101 conversation about how to get started. Like, how do I even, and maybe you're at this place where, yeah, I used to be into cards. I want to get back into it. So you're like a reboot, right? Or maybe you've never done this before and you're a basketball fan that you're like, wait a minute, is this just as simple as, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is averaging, more points and he's going to be an all-star for the first time. And so I should just start buying his cards. Is it that simple? No. There is a relation, like there is some connection. There is some momentum that a player can generate for his card market, but it's not that simple. And so today, I want to give you the behind the scenes, like some back to the basics ways, some steps you can take to just get started. Let's get it started. I don't know what's come over me, guys. The last few episodes, I got this new camera, this new microphone, and the YouTube channel. So I feel like I got to be all animated and things. I do just want to keep it real. A lot of us are listeners at Hoops and Cards. We're dealing with a regular budget. We want to keep this conversational. I don't usually start singing crazy songs in the middle of an episode. I just like to talk, and I also like to listen and hear what you guys are doing, what you are buying and selling. I learn from you. I'm not the guy that comes on here and says, hey, go ahead and buy everything I say. No. Like, do some of your own research. I might tell you, here's what I'm doing. And here's some wins that I've had. When I saw that Darius Garland optic hollow rated rookie from 2019 about 2 months ago, I looked at him like, that is the most centered optic card I have seen in my life. So I made a trade for it, sent it in. That was one of my jemmies. Like, that's a 10. And that's a card that I might keep for a long time because he's my favorite player right now in the Eastern Conference. Had to clarify there. Bron, sorry, dude. Darius is my favorite in the Eastern Conference. And I just knew, right, when I saw that card, I'd buy it and send it in. There are times when you just know this is about buying a great card, not just about following good players. So we're going to get you started with everything you need to get started and or to reboot your card collection and investing. We'll get to that right after the break.